Tonight, an 11-day period of mourning is underway for Kim Jong-il, the dictator who died Saturday. And we were struck by images from inside the Hermit Kingdom showing grief-stricken North Koreans in despair wailing uncontrollably. But is all that emotion real, forced, or a bit of both?
Today, Kim Jong-il lay in state. News of his death, one final insult to the foreign intelligence agencies who tried for years unsuccessfully to penetrate his regime. They learned, like everyone else, from the official announcement, some 48 hours after his death. Today, Kim Jong-il's son and heir choked back what appeared to be real tears as he gave a solemn bow of goodbye.
He is truly not a ready for primetime player. The Chinese themselves are a little worried about whether he's really up to the task.
Today, most of the public displays of grief beggared belief. Father General, where are you? She wailed. Grown men, many in uniform, blubbered like babies.
Part of this is political, it's manufactured and it's required on the part of the citizens. But you cannot discount that some of this is quite genuine.
When Kim Jong-il's father died, the outpouring of grief was equally over the top. The great leader, and later the dear leader, were North Korea's only celebrities. Today we met Sol Lee, a 23-year-old defector from the North, who said her generation doesn't buy it. People in my mother's generation were brainwashed, she said, but we're not so blind. State media released what they said was the last photo taken of Kim Jong-il on a supermarket escalator. Today, the escalator is a shrine. If only he could ride it again, she cried.
These two countries are still at war, but today South Korea extended condolences to the North Korean people. And officials here said that they won't be lighting the Christmas trees on the DMZ. In the past, North Korea viewed Christmas trees on that heavily fortified border as a provocation. They don't celebrate Christmas there. They worship their leaders.
We'll begin with breaking news as multiple media outlets are now reporting the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un has died. The 36-year-old dictator reportedly died when a heart surgery went wrong. Because of the nature of the secret regime in North Korea, the claims of his death have been difficult to verify. It was on Monday we learned the leader was in a poor state. We know there is a family history of bad heart health, his father dying in 2011 from a heart attack. It is unclear who will now take over for North Korea.
The 6-year-old was last seen in public April 11th. South Korea says there are no signs anything is wrong. Jung Pak is a top expert on Kim Jong-un. She worked for the CIA and the National Intelligence Council. Now she's at the Brookings Institution, a think tank. Her new book is called Becoming Kim Jong-un, a Former CIA Officer's Insights into North Korea's Enigmatic Young Dictator. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. Let me start off. There have been rumors before about Kim Jong-un. So how seriously do you think we should take these?
Thank you, Anthony. I would say that yes, Kim has disappeared in the past for a week or 2 weeks. And in 2014, he disappeared for 6 weeks. But I think what was interesting about this current disappearance or absence is that he missed one of the most important holidays, and that was April 15th, his grandfather's birthday. And given that he rests his legacy and his legitimacy on his grandfather, that was certainly a red flag. And we've seen some recent reporting about his absence, and so I think that is something to be looking for in the future.
He's young, he's only 36, but you describe him as an old 36. What do we know about his health exactly?
Well, we know that he's 30. We know that he's 36. He is obese, and you can see from the regime media itself that he has gained weight over the years, very much so. And the summits of the past 2 years with President Trump and other regional leaders had the unintended effect of actually showing how out of shape he is. We can hear him wheezing, we can see him sweating, we can see him straining, and without the soft regime filters of state media, we can see that directly for ourselves, how exactly poor his condition is. And of course, he also has a history of heart disease and diabetes. His grandfather died of a heart attack at the age of 82. His father had a stroke and died 3 years later. And so we have this string of Kims who have had these types of problems. But at this point, we don't know if he had heart problems or heart surgery or anything of that sort.
One way the U.S. tries to figure out what's going on in North Korea is by satellite imagery. A satellite image surfaced over the weekend of a train spotted at a coastal resort in North Korea. What would that tell us exactly?
As with all of the fragmentary information that we've been seeing, the train doesn't tell us whether he's there or whether he's sick or what kind of condition he is in. But as that report suggested, the fact that his train is there lends more weight to the fact that he is on the coast. This is one of his favored villas. That's where he can rest and relax. And so, that is one other piece of information that he might be in that region.
You write in your book that Kim is rational, not suicidal. If there does end up being a transition here, is that likely to shake things up in North Korea?
Kim's health, and any leader's health for that matter, is something that the intelligence community and the U.S. government looks at very closely, and especially in a society like North Korea, where there's such a personalist dictatorship in the singular person. And I think that given the fact that he holds the reins in terms of the nuclear weapons, the military and the security apparatuses, this is why this is so important, and the world is looking so closely at where Kim might be. And yes, Kim is very rational. He's not out to set a nuclear weapon against the United States. And if I were him, given the fact that he also went through a compressed grooming process after his father's stroke, that I would have been thinking about a succession process from the very beginning. So, given that he's rational, I think we shouldn't anticipate some big conflict to break out, but I think the fact that he has all the reins of power, we have to be very watchful for where he might be and if there's a prolonged leadership struggle or vacuum in North Korea.
Jung Pak, thank you very much. Her book, Becoming Kim Jong-un, goes on sale tomorrow.